All right, let's talk about the single most important and, let's be real, often the most stressful machine in your entire home. Yeah, we're talking about that system you never see, the one that's always working to keep you comfortable, your HVAC.
So, to really get into this, I want you to picture a scenario. Think about that universal moment of dread. You know, the one every single homeowner has either lived through or is terrified of experiencing. What's that one thing that can just completely torpedo a perfect summer day or a cozy winter night?
Yep, that's the one. That sudden, deafening silence. It's when your AC gives up the ghost on the hottest day of the year, or your furnace just stops right in the middle of a brutal freeze. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a full-blown crisis.
So how does one machine breaking down spiral into such a massive headache? Well, it all starts with understanding why these moments feel so personal, so immediate. And it all comes down to the nonstop battle your system is fighting against the weather every single day.
I mean, think about it. Your system is facing this constant two-front war. In the summer, it's not just the 90-degree heat. It's that thick, soupy humidity, so it's fighting heat and moisture. Then boom, a few months later, it's the winter gauntlet. Temps drop below freezing, and it's running these constant heating cycles. That kind of year-round stress really adds up.
So you gotta wonder, with all that pressure, what's the first thing to just give up? Usually it's not some big, single catastrophic failure. It's more like a breakdown at a few key weak points that have been under strain for a long, long time.
You can basically think of these as the four horsemen of the HVAC apocalypse. You've got refrigerant leaks that happen just from years of vibration, clogged drains from all that moisture it's pulling out of the air in the summer, failed capacitors that get zapped by heat and power surges, and of course, dirty coils that get totally clogged up with pollen, grass, and gunk, literally choking the system.
And here's something that's just wild. A huge hidden energy suck that most of us never even think about. 30%. Imagine that. Almost a third of the air you are paying good money to heat and cool is just gone. It's lost in leaky ductwork before it even gets to you. Seriously, it's like trying to fill a bucket that has a giant hole in the bottom.
And all of these problems, the wear and tear, the leaks, the failures, they eventually bring every single homeowner to the same big, expensive crossroads. This is the moment where you need a clear head and maybe a little bit of simple math.
Ah, yes, the ultimate question, isn't it? How do you make the smart call financially when you're looking at a pretty hefty repair bill? Do you just patch up the old system again and hope for the best? Or is it finally time to bite the bullet and invest in a new one?
Well, the good news is, there's a really simple rule of thumb that can make this decision surprisingly clear. It's called the $5,000 rule, and it's an awesome little financial guideline for your HVAC system.
Okay, let's walk through it. It's super simple. So let's say your unit is 12 years old and the repair is going to cost you $500. You just multiply the age, which is 12, by the repair cost, $500. That gives you $6,000. Since that number is over the $5,000 mark, that's a really strong sign that replacing the unit is the smarter move in the long run.
But you know what? Here's the most important part of this whole thing. You do not have to just sit back and wait for disaster to strike. You actually have a ton of power to stop many of these expensive problems from ever happening in the first place. All it takes is a little bit of attention.
And we are talking about some seriously simple wins here. Changing your air filter every 3 months, that's like letting your system breathe. It's crucial. Cleaning off the leaves and gunk from your outdoor unit in the spring takes, what, 5 minutes? And clearing that little condensate drain line prevents some really messy, damaging water backups. These small things can add years to the life of your equipment and save you real money on your energy bills.
Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes you do have to make the call and bring in the professionals. So when that happens, what should you expect? Knowing how a pro service works can take a ton of stress out of the situation. Look, this process shouldn't be a mystery. It should be simple, it should be transparent, and it should respect your time. A good company will give you an accurate arrival window. The technician will find the real root cause, explain it to you in plain English, and give you a written estimate. And after the fix, they test the whole system to make sure it's working right. No pressure, no games, just clear communication.
So, when you boil it all down, it's this. That metal box in your closet or out in your yard is working incredibly hard for you through some pretty punishing weather. A little bit of attention really does go a long, long way. That system protects you. So the real question is, are you giving it the care it needs to keep doing its job?